everyone, welcome back to my page. This week's topic is an interesting one. If we think about our partners, romance, relationships, love, we spend a chunk of our life trying to look for the one. So when you get into a new relationship, you always hope for that person to be the one. But what are the signs that we need to look out for to see whether someone's compatible with us or not? It's very easy to fall into the pattern of the excitement of the honeymoon period and consider and believe that every person that we date is and should be the one we're going to end up with. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. So there are certain signs that we need to look out for to see whether this person is really compatible for us. And although compatibility doesn't guarantee longevity in a relationship, it sure as hell provides a good quality and satisfaction and being content in your relationship. So difference is exciting, but it may not last long. If you haven't been to my page, welcome. I'm Hamasa. I look at personal development as well as mental and emotional well-being and just day-to-day issues. So please do subscribe to my page so that you're up to date with all my content. And if you're new here, hi, Happy New Year. So I'm going to start off by just going into the signs that we need to watch out for. The first telltale sign that someone may not be for you is that you guys are too different from each other. Now, there's nothing wrong with differences, and usually we do find people who's very opposite to us attractive, hence opposites attract. And that's all fun and games when the relationship is still new and quite exciting. But once the dust settles and you fall into more of a routine and you're over the getting to know each other stage, and you fundamentally don't seem to see eye to eye or agree or like the same things, will eventually end up being an issue. You still need to have the same morals, beliefs, values, and fundamentals. You may like different colors or different vehicles, different fashion sense. Those things are compromisable. But if you have a real difference in religious perspectives, child upbringing, finances, which are major fundamentals for a relationship to last or for the person to be the one for you, then that would be an issue. So if you're very, very different and you don't seem to come from the same sort of mindset, then there's definitely an issue there. And it may be great at the start, but later down the line, the cracks will show and it might be explosive. So right at the start, if you could see that you guys are very, very different in a lot of important decisions or just important topics, then keep an eye out, because that's not looking very good. The second sign, and I actually mention this to my friends and talk about it all the time, this is where it gets messy. You cannot get with someone and want to mold them and change them into what you want them to be. Because that means that you don't really love, accept, or appreciate the person for who they are, their authentic self. You're trying to make them into a version that suits you better. And they may want to change for you because they love you and they want to be around you. They may want to adapt to what you're asking them of, but it's not authentic or real. And in due time, a lot of resentment gets built and it falls apart, because no one can keep up a facade, a show, for more than 3 to 6 months. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong in your partner bringing out the best in you or encouraging you to make positive changes in your life. But the only way that could work is if the idea or the initiative for the change comes from you. If it's forced on you for you to change and adapt to this person, then in due time, like I said, it's just gonna crack and it's gonna fall apart. You may want to change to keep your partner happy to please them, or just keep the peace. But if you're doing that and you're losing yourself in the relationship, all you will do is start resenting the person who's making you not feel good about being your authentic self. And it's important for us to be with someone who brings out the good in us and who encourages us to have positive changes, but only when we want to make things different and change for ourselves, not because they're making us. And it's also important for us to look out for whether you are more angry, more on edge, more irritated. So whether this partner is bringing out the worst in you and forcing you to do things that are not true to you. And if that's the case, or if you're the one who's really forcing or pushing a change on your partner, all you're going to do is push them away and make them more resentful towards you. Because, like I said, you're trying to mold them into someone or something that they're not, just so that they suit and fit you. So if you take a step back and a friend of yours was to come and say, I keep wanting him to do this and he's not doing it, he just won't change for me, what would your advice be for them? It's like, this person is not going to change. They are who they are. So either you accept that and adjust your expectations, or you walk away because you could see that they're not right for you, because you're constantly wanting to chip and change them. So when someone's showing you who they are, or say that this is what they want, this is what they don't want, this is what they like, this is what they don't like, don't try and force your ideas and things that you like down on them. Either accept them and see whether it's something you can compromise on, or if it really goes against what you believe in and your morals and values, then it's down to you to do something about it. But forcing someone else to do something that you want them to do is never going to work. So we need to be paying attention to whether we feel very comfortable in being ourselves, even when it's a private setting between you and your partner. But if you're hearing snidey comments or made to be feeling very on edge or uncomfortable about who you are, then that's a sign that this person isn't really seeing the real you. My next point would be, or a sign to watch out for, is the constant arguing. Now, I'm not saying that good relationships don't have any arguments and they're always happy and everybody always gets on and everybody always agrees. That is absolutely impossible. Bear in mind, when you come together with someone, you come from mostly different backgrounds, different upbringings, different family values, different lifestyles and walks of life. So of course you're going to have disagreements on situations and topics. It's normal, it's human. And it's nice to have someone show you a different perspective, a different way of doing things. But if you're constantly arguing, and the arguments are messy, they're personal, they're dissing each other's characters, they're name calling, they're shouting, they're abusive, then that's not healthy for anyone. And there needs to be disagreements, but done within a boundary and a respectful way. Like, it's not a street fight, it's not a street, like, you're not out in the market. You're speaking to your partner, and even if you don't like something they do, or you don't agree with something that they do, this has to be communicated in a very respectful way. Next sign is that you guys don't get each other, or you just don't vibe with each other. Now, I know this might seem a bit like, what are vibes and why are we even talking about this? But at the end of the day, in order for a relationship to work in the bigger picture, and for it to get somewhere and for it to have a future, your everyday has to go by smoothly. It's the little things that actually make the big picture. So remember, it's you who's going to spend there every day and every night with your partner. And if that's difficult and you guys don't get each other, you can't read each other's emotions, you can't understand the non-verbal communication, so body language, eye contact, tone of voice, mood, and there is no, you guys are not in sync with each other, then most probably it's not going to work, because one person's left second guessing and the other person's left very unsatisfied. Next point is that you avoid confrontation or conflict at all costs, to just keep the peace and avoid a disagreement. First of all, you're not being true to yourself because it's not sitting right with you, but you just don't want to fight, so you'd rather bottle it up. And secondly, conflict can be very good for you if it's done in a constructive criticism way. And if it's received in a constructive criticism way, because you could get very defensive if criticism is given to you, but if you know that the person's intentions are clean and good and they're doing it to watch out for you, then it's very important for us to be very honest and open about our feelings and be able to discuss it in peace without it turning into an argument. Just because you want to express how you feel, or your partner wants to express how they feel, or something that may seem very irrelevant to you may be very important to your partner, it doesn't mean that you should dismiss that or that it means it's a confrontation or a fight again. It's not. It's just a discussion. And you should be able to discuss openly how you feel and the things you want without it turning into something quite malicious or escalate into a bigger issue. It's not really an issue if you guys can talk about it, discuss it, and be able to understand where you're going wrong and where you're going right, because that's where growth happens. So it's okay to have conflict, but as long as it's in moderation. My next point is that when it comes to socialization, you guys isolate yourselves and only socialize with each other. There's been no effort made on either one of your behalves to get to know each other's friends, family, circumstances permitting. And if it means that if it's right at the beginning of your relationship, that's very normal. People take time to introduce someone that they want in their life to the other important people in their lives. But if you guys been together for a while and you've introduced them to your friends and family and so on, and that's not reciprocated, or vice versa, you don't feel comfortable in introducing your partner to your friends and family after a long time of dating, then that's also a red flag and a red sign for you. Why do you feel like you cannot introduce this person to the people that are nearest and dearest to you? What is holding you back? And if it's being done to you, then again, there's something wrong that your partner doesn't want to introduce you, or that all their friends and their family members are a mystery to you. They're just these people and they're being talked about, but you've never actually met them or formed friendships and bonds. Because for me personally, it's incredibly important for me to be able to get along with everyone who's important to me and is part of my life. And I want my friends to be able to get on with my partner and vice versa. It's because it just makes life difficult for me if we're in social settings. So it's really important for your partner to be able to meet your people, and then make an effort and build some sort of friendships and respect and bonds, for them to be able to hang out with you're there or not. Like you don't want that pressure to constantly watch out and babysit your partner when it comes to social settings. And if you guys are constantly doing things by yourselves and don't really enjoy anyone else's company, or don't feel comfortable being around people that are close to you, then that's also a sign. Because bear in mind, if you want to spend your life with someone and you want them to be a part of your family and you want to be a part of theirs, then it's important for you to be able to build relationship with those people. Your relationship or your dating phase is a direct reflection of what your marriage life would be like. So don't dismiss this stage of it as in it's going to get better when we're married. Just to expand on my previous point a little more, that's another thing that I've seen a lot with people around me, or I've come across, that when the relationship is bad, having a kid, moving in together, or buying a place together, or taking the relationship to the next level is not going to fix anything or make things better. Because the whole point of dating this person is to get to know whether they're right for you or not. So when you can see that things are not right at quite an early stage, and there's no compatibility between you guys, what's to say that if you move in together, all of a sudden those problems will go away? All it will happen is that your issues and problems will be intensified, Because where you can't agree on where to go for dinner now, when you've moved in, of taking your relationship to the next level and things are a lot more advanced and they're a lot more serious, then the decisions that you will be making wouldn't be about your dinner for tonight. It'd be about what car to buy, or where to move to, what school the kids should go to. So imagine if you can't agree or see eye to eye over a small thing such as your dinner restaurant, then what's there to say that you will have a better understanding and better respect for each other when it comes to more life-changing decisions? So base your future on your present. If things are good between you guys through the dating phase, then most likely you will face a few obstacles in the future, but you could overcome it because you've built up that rapport and you've built up that experience with each other and knowledge of each other, so you can overcome it and can see eye to eye. But if you're constantly biting each other's heads off, have disagreements, don't come from the same place on small little things now in your relationship, then most likely this is what it's going to be like, just tenfold as bad in the future. So don't ever ignore this red flag. And my final thing for you guys would be that you have to be attracted to your partner. I don't want to make this sound shallow. It's not to do with looks, but there has to be a level of chemistry and attraction between you and your partner. Because as much as you might find them cute and funny and things, if there's no real true chemistry, then in due time they would turn into your friend. You would friend zone them, or they would friend zone you, and you tend to then look elsewhere for that excitement or attention, or they may do that. So there has to be a level of chemistry and attraction between you and your partner, be it mental, be it physical, be it spiritual, be it emotional, but it needs to be there. Because if it's not, then pretty soon the relationship side of it will fizzle out once the dust settles. Relationships and dating can be very tricky, especially in today's day and age. So it's important for us to be able to give our all when we meet someone that we think might be the right person for us. You cannot live your life walking on eggshells or being very guarded and very reserved, because you might miss the person that is for you. So you have to be able to take the risk and trust yourself that whether this works out or not, you will be okay. It's not about trusting the other person, it's about being able to trust yourself. And just keep an eye out, keep an open mind, and watch out for the red flags. Nothing wrong with that. You have to give yourself that time and take that risk. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you feel that this may help someone, please do share it with them. Please like and comment on this. I love hearing your experiences of the topics that I discuss, because it always gives me a different perspective on things. And I learn from you guys as much as you may learn from me. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys here again next week. Mwah.